Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, Sir 381. I am Brendan. UFC Fight Night, Ribas versus Namajunas. We're going to talk about this, the implications of this fight. We're going to talk about all of the fights in the main card, break them all down round by round. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel. That way, in the next video is coming out, I'd appreciate it. Let's go. All right. Overall, quick takeaway. Normally, I do this at the end of the videos, but it was an up and down night. If you guys didn't tune into this, which I totally understand. You know, there wasn't a ton of marquee names. There are some fights, as we'll go through. You can kind of gauge my excitement and like how I talk about them, whether or not it's worth going to watch. But I think this is another good card to throw on in the background. If you're more of a casual fan, throw it on in the background. Just listen to stuff. If you hear some excitement going on, tune in to see what happened. Because there was some exciting moments. There was a lot of times where you would be sitting around minutes at a time with not a lot going on. So it's not one I would draw all my focus to, like top to bottom. That's for sure. All right. Okay, so Ribas was taken on. This is not necessarily a step up in competition for Ribas, but Namajunas being the former champion at strawweight, this was I would say a bigger fight for Ribas. And, going in, based off of Rose's last fight, she looked like she's lost a step, maybe. Maybe it's because she's stepping up in weight. Maybe it's because she, hasn't fought in a while. Whatever it might be, I thought there was a good chance Ribas just outpointed her here. Just didn't play out that way, right? Ribas started throwing more out there, being more active, both in her strikes and her movements, but Rose was finding her spots in the middle of the moments to find openings, landing a good right hand, some good left hands in there. Ribas got the body lock takedown, but they get right back up. She wasn't able to control the ground position for very long in this fight. There was a couple moments where she had a little bit of control time, but in the grand scheme of things, just not good at keeping her Rose down on the ground. Ribas landed a hard right hand, then back at her, Rose just lands the left. Ribas tries that bullcrap head and arm throw that only works in women's MMA. Immediately gets reversed, and she ends up on bottom. Rose with the top time and a little damage was enough to make the difference in this first round. Looking at the striking numbers here, we had a 23-16 in favor of Namajunas. I think she did enough damage on the feet, and she was, in control for 1 minute and 55 seconds. That's clearly her round. You can't make any argument the other way. Rose was landing the left straight as a counter to the kicks, but Ribas just moves a lot, right? She keeps moving, keeps throwing stuff out there. If you have a less than studious judge or someone who's maybe not paying attention to all the minutia of what's actually going on and just looking at the activity, Ribas can win a lot of close encounters because of this kind of stuff. Ribas just staying more active. She was looking for the throw, went for a knee bar, lost position again, ends up on bottom. Again, the biggest difference maker here is because the striking numbers weren't that crazy, 19-15 in favor of Namajunas. Not a lot of damage either way. It was the grappling and the control time again. 2 minutes again of control time in favor of Namajunas, all off of Ribas going for the takedown. So third round, Rose landing the harder shots when she plants. She lands a right hand and the kicks to the legs to the body. Rose going to the body with the backhand, then over the top of the right hand is actually a really pretty really pretty combo that she was landing. I liked it a lot. She would go low and dig to the body and then come over the top with that right hand. Really pretty. In fact, like her corner said, yeah, and the right hand, after she landed the body shot and then immediately does that. It was really, I like that kind of stuff when you get to see it play out in real time. A coach's advice like that. Ribas went for the takedown again, but gets reversed twice, gets back up, and then Ribas able to get some control time in that head and arm position, that scarf hold position, lands a couple good shots. I don't know if that's enough to really swing it in her favor. I think it probably does. She did have more control time this time. She got outstruck yet again, 19-18, but the control time here went in her favor. So 1 minute and 20 seconds of control time. That clearly a closer round than the other ones because of that. the damage, I felt like Namajunas actually landed some good shots in this round. Not a ton, and that's probably what gave Ribas this round. I gave her this round, so I had it 29-28 going into the fourth. Ribas finding the mark when Rose rushes in this round, finding a right hand, works for the takedown. Rose just didn't do much with that takedown after she held her down there for the whole round, but it doesn't matter when you're, like, again, Ribas, I don't even think she outdamaged her because it was 10-7. She didn't land that many big strikes. That's the problem when you're a point fighter or mostly a point fighter, especially at these lower weight classes. If you're even on strikes or even slightly above on strikes and then you get taken down and controlled for a majority of the round, it's hard to make the argument that you did significantly more damage than your opponent, right? Because even the act of taking someone down causes damage. The softest takedown in the world you can consider like landing about as much damage as like a jab to the thigh, right? But a jab to the thigh is still a strike landed. I know that's a stupid example, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's something to be said for a takedown. Yes, and there's high amplitude takedowns that do a lot of damage. The point is, in these lighter weight classes with people not throwing as hard generally, not landing a lot of damage with any single shot, and volume being the key, if your volume isn't far and away higher than your opponent's, then it's going to go to control time. If there's any difference in the control time, that's where it's going to go. You got to put the damage out there. You have to do way more damage, and in those close moments, you got to land bigger shots. That's just not what happened. Ribas outlanded her 3 strikes, but got put down on her butt for 2 minutes and 40 seconds. 39-37 going to the last round. Rose is using that right hand to perfection to start the round, coming under the guard with it, using it to counter. Rose is staying way on the outside, not wanting to take a big shot. Ribas still more active with the spinning kicks, the kicks to the body. Ribas able to out-volume her in the last round. I thought she did. The striking numbers were dead, like really close, almost dead even, right? So 25-24 in favor of Namajunas. Namajunas didn't have any control time in this round. I felt like Ribas landed the bigger shots. It was a close round. Ribas was pressing forward. So I actually gave this last round to Ribas. I had it 48-47 for Rose overall. Very smart, very safe fight for her. So looking at the scorecards, a little bit all over the place, but generally speaking, first round went to Namajunas on all 3 scorecards. Round 2 went to, Saul D'Amato gave the second round to Ribas. Bad scorecard. Can't give her that second round. I don't think she did anything in that second round so significant. She was 4 strikes down. None of those 15 strikes that she landed were so big that it outweighs the 2 minutes of control time, or the damage that came back at her. Plus, there was that 2 minutes of control time. I just don't think so. Third round, everybody had it for Ribas. That sounds about right. Fourth round, everybody had it for Namajunas. And last round, nobody actually gave that last round to Ribas. That's a little surprising. I thought it was pretty damn close. So. I had the same scorecard as Saul D'Amato, but not the same round by round scoring. All right, what does this mean? What does it mean? Well, it means that Namajunas is probably going to be ranked after this. She lost to Montefiore in her first fight at flyweight. It's likely that she'll be in the top 10, maybe take her number. They might both just drop if that's the case. That does happen. But she'll probably be in the top 10. She's looking for a title eliminator fight. I think she has earned it with her work that she did in strawweight and showing that, she can beat Ribas like that. But, she shouldn't. She's saying she's looking at the Aaron Blanchfield versus Montefiore fight. I don't think she deserves to fight one of them yet. I think she should fight a Macy Barber, Sermonara. I think Sermonara being such a mainstay in the division, I think that's a good fight for her. She thinks she needs to show that she can do this against someone else in this division, especially a top 10 mainstay. So I'd put her in there against one of them. I would not put her I wouldn't throw her right into a title eliminator. I think that's kind of bogus. Although, I get it name-wise, but... All right. Let's talk about a absolute garbage heavyweight fight. Karl Williams versus Justin Tafa. All right, you see the control time here? 10 minutes and 30 seconds. That's how much of this fight you could skip and still get everything that really happened in this fight. Yes, there were strikes thrown in those, 35, 54, and 34. But just not a lot going on. The significant strikes do tell the tale a little bit more. Williams looking to land that big right hand, but Tafa throws right back at him. Tafa landing that hard left hand, a couple good shots, but then throws a knee and falls backwards, right? So Williams didn't even really go for a takedown. He ended up there almost by happenstance. And then he just like, hey, well, I'm here. I'll control you for the next 4 minutes, which is what he did. Second round. So obviously he wins at round 10-9. Second round, Williams is on the retreat, waiting for the takedown. Tafa landing a hard body kicks and a decent jab. Tafa throws a high kick and gets caught and then falls down. I hate to give it to a guy who just sits on top to get the win, but I guess that's what we're doing here. Williams gets 20-18, right? Like, I think after that first round, the referee, who was it Herb? Yeah, it was Herb Dean. I think Herb Dean could have warned him, like, hey, I think that's totally reasonable. All right, wait, let's go through the rest of the fight. I have him up 20-18. Then Tafa lands a nasty left hand and a right uppercut. Williams, desperate for the takedown for this last round. Williams ends up sitting on top of him for 3 minutes and 48 seconds in this last round as well. Williams did almost no damage, but hey, we don't talk about that. Anyway, let's talk about just something real quick here before we go on to the next fight. I think it's totally acceptable to take every fight in context of itself. Right? Every fight gets its own context. Meaning, just because you're a wrestler and the other person isn't, if they take you down and you are clearly the better wrestler, that doesn't mean they just get to sit there. Because, oh, hey, he's the good wrestler. He should be able to get up. That's not how this works. Okay? Every fight has its own context. So, in this kind of fight, where the first round clearly goes to Williams because he sat on top the whole time, in my opinion, was not active enough to hold that position. If you are in that position for that long, I think that first round, I think you can not get away with it necessarily. It sets the precedent. Like, hey, this is what he's working, like, this is what we're going to be working for. This is what we're expecting. And because of that, I know what I'm expecting. I know what he's going to be doing. He clearly wasn't working for better position. He wasn't looking to finish the fight. He was looking to hold position and stay there the whole time. Good. The second I see him get into that position again in the next round, I'm going to say you work to advance or you work for a finish, which is technically working for it. Like, advancing is working for a finish. Anyway, the point is, because that first round went that way, you should be able to warn him fast in that second round. We've seen it happen before. As the fight wears on, especially in like clinch heavy stuff, we'll see him say like, "Hey, let's work, guys. Let's work even faster." Like the second they get on against the cage, let's work because they sat there for too long. I'm gonna let you know now. In a 3-round fight, if you're 2.5 rounds in, it's too late. It's too late. If you want to make a difference and increase urgency on the fighter's behalf, you need to warn them early. You need to punish them early. You're going to sit on top like that? Okay, great. Get back up. You want the takedown? Get it again. I understand you worked for a takedown, but these are the rules that are in place for a reason. I'm not saying this gets into a whole different discussion, right? And I call it the Rogan opinion, where it's like if someone takes someone down, it's their job to get back up. I totally understand that argument in context of an actual no rules fight. Right? In that context, I totally get that. That's fine. But that's not what we're doing. We have rules here. One of the rules is saying there is no stalling. You have to work for a finish. I've seen things be broke up that shouldn't have been broken up because the referee didn't like what he saw, especially like even against the cage. If you hold me against the cage for 4 minutes and I don't want to be there, how is that any different than you taking me down for 4 minutes? Or you taking me down and staying on top for 4 minutes? It's a dominant position. you're making me do something that I don't want to do. Just because the gravity is helping you in the second scenario, then we're going to let it continue? Like, the difference between the two, I think, there first of all, there shouldn't be that much of a difference between those two positions. If you're actively working for a finish and advancing position in either one of those, I think it's fine. If you're actively striking in either one of those positions, I think it's fine. You get to hold that position for as long as you want. The second you start holding and stalling, that's it. You get one warning and then let's go. No stalling. Or you just make it a part of the game and then everybody does it. And then welcome to everybody's going to wrestle and hold. That's what everybody's going to practice. All right. Edmen Shahbazyan versus AJ Dobson. Not a bad fight. Dobson's hands are crazy fast, not landing super hard, but he's landing when he lands at 1-2. Oh, man, he lands a 1-2-3. Whew, so fast. Actually, it was more like a 1-2-1, but still super, super fast. Dobson lands a nasty right hand. He hurts him with a left hook afterwards in the break. Fantastic. Dobson was looking on fire with the hands. Then Shahbazyan gets the trip, then gets reversed, and then they get back up. And you're like, okay, this is going to go to the end of the first round. We're going to see how it goes. But then Shahbazyan drops him with a left hand, pounds on him, and puts him to sleep, and that's the end of it. I did not expect that. Based off of how that fight was going, I did not expect that, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Great fight for Shahbazyan. Payton Talbott versus Cameron Saaiman. All right, let's talk about this one for a little bit here. When the exchange kicks at range, Talbott, he's taking the center, finding his mark more often. Talbott lands hard knees as Saaiman goes for a takedown. Somehow he's still in there. So this knee landed what I thought was flush right on the chin. Saaiman has a crazy chin. He was able to take a ton of damage. Talbott lands a hard. He's looked like he has disdain for the stuff that's coming back at him. He just continues to walk Saaiman down. Saaiman landed 31 significant strikes in this round. I mean, obviously got outlanded 59-31. That Saaiman actually lands a hard low kick to the cup across the body. That kind of sucked. Talbott, he's like, oh, you bastard. He's like, you son of a bitch. Like, basically saying that Saaiman's looking for a break. Saaiman stayed in there and kept throwing back. I actually gave this a 10-8. I thought that Talbott was close enough to a finish at multiple points in this round that I gave him a 10-8. Second round. Talbott starts the second round with a hard jab, follows up with a ton, and gets a TKO. No strikes landed for Saaiman in the second round. Talbott looks great. I got to see him against someone else. Saaiman does tend to get into these kind of brawlish situations, and then he wins because the other guy gets tired. And I've seen that happen a couple times now, so let's see what happens. Yeah, great fight. Talbott looked fantastic. Billy Quarantillo over Youssef Zalal. This fight kind of drove me nuts. Zalal is just doing a better job using the kicks at range. Zalal landing whenever he wants. Every time he engages, Zalal gets a trip and gets on top, able to get the back and ends around going for a rear naked choke. He had a minute and 30 seconds of control time here, but he outstruck him 31-8. Second round, Zalal hits a trip early and gets it back and gets a rear naked choke finish. So, honestly, it just looked like Quarantillo was never here. It looked like he wasn't awake for this entire fight. I don't want to take anything away from Zalal, but it didn't look like Quarantillo was fighting like himself. It never looked like he was in there. So, whatever he was going through, maybe Zalal just, gave him too much to look at, and that caused him to pause. I don't know, but I hope that Quarantillo comes back and looks better. Looks more like himself. Fernando Padilla versus Luis Pajuelo. I think that's how you pronounce that. Padilla landed a hard low kick and already seems like Pajuelo doesn't like it. Padilla is picking him apart at range when he can't be countered. Right, he's striking from so far away. He just can't. He's got a huge reach advantage. Pajuelo lands a nice shot, but then immediately gets dropped with a left hand, and he goes. And when he gets up, Padilla locks up the Darce, and it's over. Beautiful finish by him. The Darce choke. I love seeing a good Darce. Great finish. That's it for the main card. There was one real stinker on the card. The rest of them were, you had a technical battle with the Ribas and Namajunas. Not exactly. I wouldn't call it. Definitely not slugfest. I wouldn't call it the most entertaining to watch, but it wasn't bad. Williams and Tafa, you can go take a nap and go get some snacks for that one. Shahbazyan versus Dobson ended quick. That was fun to watch. Talbott versus Saaiman, that was action packed and fun. Quarantillo versus Zalal, action packed, and Padilla versus Pajuelo, action packed and fast. The card moved really quick. It's just that there wasn't anybody on the card other than probably the main event that got people to come in to watch this fight. So that's why I said if you're not a hardcore fan, maybe it's something you put on in the background when you hear them say "oh," and then you turn to watch. So all right, that's it for the main card. Thank you guys for stopping by. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That way you know the next video is coming out. I'd really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Helps out with the the video stuff, like the YouTube algorithms. Like if you subscribe to the channel, it helps make YouTube think that like people are actually interested in watching it, so it'll promote it so more people come here. That's all it does, and all you have to do is click the button, and I appreciate it. That's it. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys thought. Did you guys watch these fights? Did you not watch? Did you guys skip? You waiting for maybe next weekend or possibly UFC 300? So appreciate y'all for stopping by. It means a lot to me. Hope you guys have an amazing week. Peace. Love you.